Well, good morning everyone, welcome along to the National Hockey Centre here in Glasgow. We've had a little rest day, but we're back with the business end of the EuroHockey Championship 2. We're into the semi-finals later on for those wanting to get promoted, but we've got some big games and the crossover games, the crossover matches, which is now known as Pool C, for the side to finish 3rd and 4th in both pools, and a couple of big games to start off with. This first one will decide the first side who will go down from the second tier. Portugal taking Switzerland, both sides without a win so far in the tournament, so that is underway shortly. We've got Ukraine against the Czech Republic at 11:45, and then we move on to the top 4 sides from the 2 pools. Wales against France. Wales doing well to win their pool. France second behind Scotland, and the Scots are on at 4:30 against Russia, so a busy day on this penultimate day of these championships. So there's just a little look at this now known as Pool C. Ukraine and Czech Republic, their wins that they picked up in the group phase, they are put into the table here, so they have a bit of a head start, you could say, and then they will play each other, and we should get a result by tomorrow. But this game, first game, as they say, is crucial, because with Switzerland and Portugal with no points, whoever loses this will be relegated to the 3rd tier. Let's then go to the lineups, and we'll start off with Portugal. Well, David Franco scored an excellent goal. It was in consolation against France. He and Miguel Rodriguez are the 2 real playmakers, a side that do score goals, but will they last the pace against the Swiss side? Jose Santos scored against the Swiss here at World League One last year, and a defeat against the Swiss. It was 4-1 it was, so they were looking to try and rectify that, because the Swiss are a bit changed from the side from World League One. We mentioned throughout the week a couple of key players not involved from last year at WL1. Jan Houdal is another player that doesn't start, and will he feature? It could be a big question. He limped off the other day. He's one of the main goal scorers. Manuel Keller is the captain for the Swiss. Nick Schwer might be the man that has to step up from penalty corners to try and score goals, and it is a side which has Sandro Reinhard on the sidelines, and if he does come on, it will be his 50th cap. So the big game starts very quickly, and on the sidelines the umpires are Thomas Hollick and Jamie Hooper. Hollick of the Czech Republic, Hooper from Wales. And we're getting ready for the sides to make their entrance here. And alongside myself, Carl Patterson, in the commentary box here for the first game of the day. We've got a coach, someone that's been involved with the game for many years, various roles, former member of the Commonwealth Games Scotland Board, Neil Sturrock's with us for a couple of games today, but for this one, first of all, Neil, big game early on, because whoever doesn't win, they're going down.
Absolutely. And, I think the Portuguese are slightly less fortunate, because they lost against Ukraine by a number of goals, so their goal difference is I think -5, whereas the Swiss in their game in this pool against the Czechs lost by 1 goal. Swiss, as you've quite rightly said, and people said earlier in the week, are struggling in terms of they're short of 2 of their key playmakers who are here in Hockey League One. And they've gone with a far younger squad now, so they've got 6 players that were in the under-18 championships here a year ago, so not the experience that you would hope.
Here's the anthems.
standing for the national anthem of Switzerland.
So just a couple of minutes from getting going here, and the point where we're talking about the Swiss there, well, just before we're coming there, Neil, you're saying, well, Portugal might be just a slight favourites. We talked about Jan Hudel. Some of these young players have had to come through in this Swiss side pretty quickly. No Fabian Roschliger, Patrick Muller, who were two key players last year. So Portugal can kind of keep in it at the end of quarters, so that's when they seem to just run out of energy a little bit. You sense they've got a chance here?
I think so. Portugal have got some really talented individual players, as we've talked about throughout the week. The Swiss will be more of a team play and building up. And pardon me, they'll try and negate what the Portuguese have got. I had breakfast with the Swiss coach Chris Faust this morning, and he apologised for the game because he said it may not be that exciting from our point of view. But they're on a 10-year plan to try to develop Swiss hockey. What people forget is that within the indoor game, the Swiss are ranked in the top 8 men and women in Europe. They're going to the European Cup finals in Berlin and possibly the world. And so they've got really talented sides within the indoor game, and what they're trying to do is develop their structure for the outdoor and bring it up to the same level. But it's a long-term plan. They've only had 3 warm-up games against the Austrian under-21 side, so in comparison to what some of the other teams have had, it's not been as high quality, and that, I guess, is down to budget. But the Portuguese have got some really talented players. As we've seen, they've scored open play goals against some of the top teams, but they've also shared a lot of goals. And so it'll be interesting to see how their coach plays this, whether they go all out to score goals, or whether they're a little bit cagey, just waiting for the right opportunity and getting their players to go one-on-one against some of the Swiss defenders.
Well, going cagey is not really something I think we've seen too much of Portugal. The first quarter against France, they were a bit more tight, but when they started conceding goals, it became a bit evident that they were going to concede a few, but we'll see what happens. We're almost ready to go. Swiss in white and black, and from right to left in the first quarter.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's play!
The big countdown, and it is the penultimate day of the EuroHockey Championship 2, and a big game for these two. As we mentioned, the side that doesn't win here will be in the 3rd tier in a couple of years' time. Portugal bounced up from the 3rd division in 2015, promoted with Wales. The Swiss should have been relegated a couple of years ago. They've got a reprieve with the suspension of Azerbaijan at the moment, so they are looking to try and make use of the stay in the 2nd tier.
Already you've seen the way the Portuguese set up. They're set up exactly the same way as they did against Scotland, and Scotland find it quite hard to break them down for long periods. So they've gone with 2 high forwards and 4 almost flat across the middle, which makes it really difficult to penetrate through that unless the ball pace goes very, very early. What the French managed to do against them was move the ball very quickly so that it was moved past the midline before the players got set. Scotland didn't quite manage to do that as early.
There's the decent spots here, the Swiss, the first minute of the game. Back it goes to Yves Morard. Mikel Morard is on the other channel, bouncing up off Jose Santos. It was a nice short ball, just a wriggling away from Marelli and also Florian Feller. We could quite get hold of the ball in the D. We'll have another firing ball, but again, just a who I didn't quite come close enough to Florian Feller in the middle of the D.
And the Swiss going back to a half court immediately. Dropping off to the halfway line and letting the Portuguese back four bring it up almost the halfway line before they find any opposition.
Something here for Portugal. There might be a chance across the face of the D. Miguel Rodriguez diving. Couldn't get hold of it, but quick as a flash, Portugal were in behind.
Yes, nice deflection in the midfield. Right back didn't seem to have his player, and left winger made good inroads into the 20-23 and towards the circle to create a good opening.
Boris Stumps with the turn. Mikel Morard down this channel. Nick Schwer driving across it went, knocked back by Helder Gonzalez, so quickly on with it, stomps across. Good spot again, and a bit of a ear hit and advantage for Portugal. Miguel Rodriguez away once more. Across to Coden now. A bit of joy again, potentially down that left channel. And Chavez found support in there. Comes to end that move for the Portuguese.
Yeah, just trying to force it across when actually there were quite a lot of Swiss players between him and his teammates. The coach would have been wanting him to just bring it back out and recycle it, so waiting for a better opportunity.
Well, the weather's taking a little bit of a turn for the worst today here in Glasgow. It's a bad sign when it's barely after 9:30 and the floodlights are on, but rather grey, really windy, blustery. I think there'll be a bit of rain around throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, and if the pitch plays like it has in the other days where it's been wet, it's a bit difficult for them making the players who make the quick turns. There's been a lot of people losing their footing when they've been trying to make the quick turns and breaks. So hopefully it doesn't impact on the play as much as that.
Gifted back to Portugal this. Moreira struggling to keep hold of it. Stefan did well.
Well, first 5 minutes, Callum, and I have to say the Portuguese haven't shown in the way that they showed in previous matches in the first 5-7 minutes of the quarter. They look slightly tired, and ball pace and the support play of the players isn't of the standard that we've seen up to now.
Carlo Cunha couldn't find anyone from his side. Keller was there for the Swiss. Tried to roll it back was Santos. Here back now is Cunha once more. Switch to the other side, space for Moreira. Moreira to drive, and Ribeiro couldn't get enough on that. Stay with the side in green. Moreira down for Ricardo Cunha. And coming together with stomps. Moreira again. Franco. Keeper gets something onto that. Cunha controlled well for Joe Coda. Chavez and Coda once more. First time Portugal had sustaining amount of possession. Cut out there by Marielli, and Switzerland might feel they can get a break on. Down channel is Gail Vaishuda, but runs away from him. And it'll be a real test for those that, if without Jan Hudel, if Switzerland can find the conviction of scoring some goals from open play. Marelli made an initial good run, but couldn't link up with his teammate.
David Franco, one of the key Portuguese players, off just now getting treatment from their physio. They'd be really disappointed if he wasn't able to play a full part in the game, given his impact.
Yeah, he's one of the two players picked out pretty much every game, him and Miguel Rodriguez. Going back by Stomson, Sporting Schwer. Mikel Morad on the other side this time. Mikel was from good there, but did have support there. Storm's trying to help it into the circle. Back by Grader. That's scrappy. Santos not retreating, but it's a quick word from the umpire. And Swiss carry on. Look at all the defensive bodies back. It's very difficult to get anywhere near the circle at the moment.
Swiss moving the ball around the back a little bit. When they get it out to the wide left defender and left midfield, Portuguese aren't managing to get across as quickly as they were earlier on. So if they keep working that position, they will start to be able to penetrate into the circle and create opportunities for goal shots.
Good job supporting Keller. Left for Mikel. Darted away. I called it.
I think we're getting a card here. Just a warning.
Mikel Morad and Tavares trying to get it away. Get it by, so Portugal will have it back. A lot of tension. It's a big game for these sides, as the semi-finals will be for those looking for promotion. A lot on the line first thing in the morning here this Friday morning in Glasgow.
Quite a cagey start, as you understand, because for whichever team, as you say, whichever team loses it goes down to Euro Championship 3, and not what any of the teams would really want. Swiss are starting to build up a wee bit better.
Space open up left and right here. Marielli is in the D, waiting for it if it was to come to him. Schwer couldn't keep in his grasp. Pinheiro did well. Vares did well to watch the pressure, and they've got Portugal, so they go long. Something to find Miguel Rodriguez, who's making the run, only found Greda.
Again, a long aerial ball, but there was only one forward for Portugal, and surrounded by 3 Swiss players, so it's not a high percentage ball from there. I think Chris Faust, the Swiss head coach, will be reasonably happy with their start. He'll be looking for more when they get into the 23-metre line, though, because they're just not making the better decisions that help their players.
Break on for here. Gail Vaishuda does score, punishing. Got it back. There was a break on, and a big game, which means a lot to stay in the division. It's a good goal for the Swiss.
Far better build up. Was going to take it on his reverse, then took it on his front stick, and lovely shot into the goalkeeper's top left. I think we'll see the goalkeeper was still moving when the shot came in, which didn't give him as good an opportunity to be able to make the save. So his feet were still moving when the shot was made. Terrific shot, but technically I think most of our goalkeepers will be wanting the goalkeeper to be set and able to go both directions when the shot comes in.
Well, Gail Vaishuda scored a goal in vain on Wednesday against the Czech Republic. And he scored there, and it kind of came from nothing, but forward from Portugal, Franco tried to get a ball in. The goal coming from nothing, little break opened up, and pretty clinical from the Swiss as we head into the final couple of minutes of this first quarter.
Now it's important from the Swiss perspective that they hold this 1-goal lead until half time. Portuguese will be wanting to try to get that equaliser, so that they go in at the end of the first quarter level. There's now gaps starting to appear in the Portuguese midfield, which weren't there at the start.
Stomps like you're wriggling behind. And it goes to the D. Coden nearly lost it. He's back up for Cunha. There's a nice ball that from Cunha for Franco, got the advantage. And he goes for Miguel Rodriguez. Pinto around there. A gregarious, larger than life kind of figure, scored a brilliant goal for Portugal in their opening game. Couldn't quite get it down for him and his side. Down here for Kellett. Spaces there. Franco just got something in the way, stick in the way.
Just again, bad decision making at that time.
Down it goes for Schwer. And that will do for the first quarter. And Switzerland have the advantage to Gael Vaishuda. And in this game, which the winner will have another chance to stay in the second tier. And there's a big goal. Certainly our Gallows has been having a little look at it again and wanting to have a little look at, see if it was just maybe outside the D, the goal, but we'll have another little look anyway.
I think when he hits it, it's on the line. On the lines in the circle, so you could see him delaying the shot and waiting till the ball did cross. Difficult one from this camera as well, because we're looking from behind, not looking level with it. But you can see as the ball comes in, he's waiting, and when he strikes it, from here, difficult to call, but it looks as though it's on the line. If it's on the line, it's in the circle. But that doesn't take away from what a great strike it was.
So that's the difference between the two sides here. Of course, in this pool, the two other teams in it, Ukraine and the Czech Republic, they've got 3 points of a head start with their wins they've picked up already. They play each other next, and then later on, reminder, Wales against France, Scotland against Russia in the semi-finals for promotion, and it's just as big as the finals day, because the two winners from that are going to be looking at heading up into the top tier. So, last 30 seconds or so of the talking from the coaches. It's still rather more serious looking from the Swiss side. The Portuguese just trying to regather their breath. You were mentioning early on in the quarter how Portugal looked a bit leggy despite the rest day. Why do you think that might be? Just because they've played a lot of hockey this week?
Yeah, I think they've had to work really hard in every game. In the game against Scotland, they played a little bit of half court. But when Scotland were moving the ball and had possession, they were having to make the teams, make the Portuguese work from side to side and up and down. So we'll see how they start this quarter. Last quarter, Swiss had about 11 penetrations into the Portuguese 23. Portuguese had about 4 into the Swiss. From that 11, Switzerland got about 5 times into the Portuguese circle, and obviously got the goal from that. No penalty corners in the first quarter, which is, I guess, unusual, but obviously Swiss coach will be the happier, not just with the current score, but also with the way his young lads are playing and being patient. Just be looking for a little bit better decision making in key areas within the 23.
Swiss continue where they left off the first quarter with plenty of possession. And O'Kelly deciding to go aerial. To Tavares, couldn't find Miguel Rodriguez, only find Yves Morard.
Cover defence at the back, but you've been looking for the defender to be able to find his own player. Wasn't under an awful lot of pressure, so the release ball should have been a little bit easier to make.
Vaishada getting a bit tasty with the stick. Here's Pencil, but mugged off him. But they will get it back, that was a bit loose.
Yeah, skills aren't quite as tight, they're maybe a little bit. The young side could be quite nervous, and actually being one up sometimes makes you more nervous because you can see the prize in front of you.
Jose Santos trying to sneak into the knee, but couldn't get a touch on that. Play it scored in the goal against Switzerland at World League One last year, but it was a defeat. But there's a real sense that it might not be as big a defeat as it was then. It wasn't a huge defeat at World League One, 4-1. But Swiss losing 2 or 3 players in the last year and in this competition. It may well be closer than they will, so we feel Portugal can get back into this. potentially a spotted bother, but managed to get the free hit.
Lovely stick skills to just be able to manipulate the ball, get the foul, and then be able to build the play up. As you quite rightly said, Cam, throughout the week, the Portuguese really rely on probably about three key players to create their opportunities. Tavares at the back is very talented and good composure, and with Franco and Rodriguez, they're the key men that make them tick a lot of the time, going on one-on-one and creating situations within the defensive 23.
Tavares down the channel. Franco coming together with Stefan. Good spot though. Tavares trying to lob it away any way he can from the attentions of Fella.
That was very unlucky. It was really good defending in the air.
Cunha, his turn to try and keep hold of it. Marielli making it difficult.
And again, great skills. Portuguese player lifting the ball up, trying to lift it over the stick of the Swiss defender, but he was aware of it and managed to control the ball and bring it back down. That attack that was built up there by the Portuguese, Cam, was made by Tavares coming over to the right of the back four and creating a link with Franco down the right hand side. It'll be interesting to see whether
Could have just lost this one, and that wasn't far away at all. Florian Fellet, with his experience picking up, but couldn't put it in the corner.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether the Portuguese use this, using Tavares down one side or the other to link with the key players in the forward positions. Normally he'd play where he is just now in one of the central defensive positions, but you see how he's starting to drift out now.
Tavares on the floor, coming together, Marielli coming together. Cunha stopped his tracks, just going to take a little pause for a moment while the Portuguese player gets back to his feet. Jimmy Hooper, the Welsh umpire, making sure he's okay. Twisting the turn, and now Keller across Grader. A little deflection, they might still be alive here. Stomps.
Oh, well back by Tavares. It's his error that caused the possession to turn over, but super tackle to get it back.
Marielli into the circle it goes. Here's Fella. Turn just a little nick away. Portugal survive that. Swiss just ramping up just a little touch, looking to try and find number 2. Mind you that Portugal are the lowest ranked side here, 43rd in the world, between Croatia just above, Fiji just below them, Swiss 28th. Feller, nice space, going up here, here's Schwer, crosses Stefan, Rodriguez is back, Tavares is away from danger and then got several metres up and found Pinto here, who twists and turns, a slip and a slide. Pinto going himself, and up he gets is the message from Jamie Hooper on the floor. And Marielli now down this channel. Swiss trying to capitalise possibly from 2 or 3 Portuguese players up top, but Taylor slowed down a little bit and backwards they come and try and work another move. Grader in the turn from Keller.
Lucky to get away with that. The ball into the centre back who stepped up was okay, but he was surrounded by 3 or 4 Portuguese. At that point you want him to bring the ball back out again, not try and take on 3 or 4 players. They're fortunate to get the ball, and now Pinto's making a long break, and
he's picked up,
having to work hard to get back.
Wide. Find some support though. Kamalo. Pinto! Well, it was a nice run to get in there and try and tap it in.
Fantastic save. Keeper aware of it, and he takes over the duties of the defender.
I think might be able to kill off the post. Maybe off the keeper. And that's what they can do, Portugal. Very clinical. Have been once or twice on the break. Flores played it in. Never found the right touch that he wanted. Taking off Schneider. Heading towards the final 5 here in the second quarter. Swiss still have that narrow advantage through Gale Vaishoda in the first quarter of the goal. Difference in the two sides here. At the moment it would be enough for Switzerland to keep the chances of staying in the league alive. It would relegate Portugal. Bit of a run on, but I think Yves Morales got that one covered. Falls again here for Swiss. Code it across to keep it out of the circle. Stomps. Keller. Wasn't the best of passes, and
that's an experience there. Trying to put it through the head of a circle, which is where all teams are going to put their key defence, and not only that, he's putting it onto the front stick of one of the key players there. They need to keep patience and just keep building the ball up. They've created opportunities, they're getting into the circle. Don't need to force the ball in situations like that, and most of their opportunities have come down the wide channels.
Stomps, turn away, Marielli. It's a bit rushed, bit poor. And that's Cunha tries to motor away.
And Portuguese going to a back 3 just now to try and find the balls down the outside, with Tavares coming wide right. You see the space well in front of him. Now he starts to attack.
And here he is with the ball lobbed over. Only found Keller of Switzerland. Sticks and everything flying there, but Keller kept hold. Stomps down the channel, but too much venom. And that one for Rapel.
And that's the difference between some of the top sides and why these teams are here. Again, you know, Scotland, France, the top sides would be expecting to stop that pass and create an opportunity from there.
Going away here to Fella off the foot. Levi Shudat. Keller flinging it to the other side. Swiss would ideally love a second. Stomps into Gael Vaishuda that come off his body. It looked like it. And Portugal get away with that and look to try and get away again, but a simple break, maybe a bit more time, but the pass was loose. Maybe space here. Franco out to the right, but instead it's down the left side with Ribeiro. I think Franco is really annoyed because he was in the acre of space down the right side.
Again, Cunha steps up. Tavares comes out wide right, finds the ball down the long channel.
Turn from Ribeiro into the D. Keeper came rushing out. Jones Farissa has plenty of saves to make against the Czechs. And just filters and phases out the attacking opportunity for Portugal to the final minute of the half.
Bit of tiredness creeping in as well. Basic skills are starting to let both sides down. Even Tavares, who we don't expect to make mistakes, getting found out.
Franco tried to control, to try and work some magic right at the end of the quarter, but that'll do for now, as Switzerland have the lead. With the goal from Gael Vaishuda, it might well be a crucial one in the context of the second tier survival, and that is the state of play at half time. Let's look at some of the moments from the first couple of quarters. There's pieces of decent action from both sides. Switzerland with the better of the attacking chances, including this goal.
What was good there was that the goal scorer actually held off and didn't run ahead of the ball passer. Very often what happens is that they get too far ahead and the defender manages to cut it out. Now if you watch the goalkeeper's feet here, Callum, as the ball comes across to the guy who's going to shoot, he's still moving, and his weight is all going the wrong way when the shot comes in. That said, it was a cracking shot. Second opportunity here, just wasn't on target. Probably had more time than he thought.
Pedro Pinto.
Yeah, just falling over. This is his best opportunity. Lovely ball, good deflection, but the keeper was on his toes, ready for it. And see how his feet were stationary. When that ball came through, his feet were stationary, so even when Pinto got the deflection, he was able to actually make a move to cover it. Whereas if you go back to the Portuguese keeper, his feet were moving as the shot came in, which didn't give him the opportunity to cover shots who committed to one side.
So then that is the state of play at half time. There's a lot of conversations going down from the Swiss coaching team to our right with the magic board, but we'll take a pause for now. At the half time break, it's Portugal 0, Switzerland 1. Welcome back then to the National Hockey Centre here in Glasgow, and we're just about to get underway for the third quarter here between Portugal and Switzerland. Portugal been standing around for a good 2 or 3 minutes on the field. Switzerland just out. I think we can read into that, Neil.
I think the coach has obviously said what he needed to. As we discussed at half time, though, when you come from, I think Alan Meikle was talking about the temperatures in Lisbon earlier on the week at 30. When you come from that sort of temperature and you're in Scotland where it's maybe 15, standing around as they were doing for a couple of minutes isn't the best of preparations for the start of the second half.
Well, driven ball across the D, but no takers. Yeah, it was about 14 degrees when the last check's about an hour or so ago. And probably feels a bit cooler than that with the blustery wind, I'm sure, if you can see the trees on the far side.
A balmy summer's day in Glasgow.
And the Swiss, once again, Swiss supporters that are here, a few of them have made an effort to try and turn the place Swiss with the flags and the decoration. But it certainly doesn't feel like a Swiss day otherwise. They settled, passing out between the two back there for Portugal. Here is Moreira, back to Joe Coda once more. At 48 for Coda today. Coming together, we've seen Cunha on the floor, but Switzerland have it. Schneider for Stomps. Stomp to rattle it off the foot of Ventosa. Driven across by Marielli, and there is goal number 2 for the Swiss. And Fehler taking the high fives, because it could well be a lifeline to keep them in the second tier.
Good defensive work to retain the ball, and then into the forward. I'm not sure he was trying to deflect that to the back post. It would be interesting to see whether he was actually trying to make a deflection himself, but good ball in past the Portuguese defenders. I think a fortuitous deflection to the back post, but that's why you have a player there.
Yeah, Nick Schwer couldn't get enough on it, but Florian Feller could. Number 2 for the Swiss. Feller just one game short of his 50th cap. There's an injury here for one of the Portuguese players, halfway.
Because he was coming forward. Cunha.
Yeah. Maybe going to head off possibly, or he might well be okay, just having a chat with the umpire. No, I think the umpire's saying better just get checked.
If there's any blood, then he has to go off, and if the physio goes on, he needs to go off, but doesn't seem to be. This is where the Swiss coaches will be wanting the team to work really hard to maintain that 2-goal lead for another 3 or 4 minutes, to just settle and make sure that they don't concede early.
And there goes, but again, Portugal just not really having that conviction at all today. Umpire with another heavy peep, talking to come for Ivo Moreira. Thomas Hollick, the Czech umpire, just quietly telling me he's in charge. Bit of ill discipline creeping in for the Portuguese. Schneider. Keller was continuing his run. Wasn't the best of passes.
It's asking a bit much, wasn't it? You could see the pattern they were trying to build, but he was asking an awful lot of the overlapping player.
Chavez and Toza now hurling his way into the circle. One or two, I think, claims from the Portuguese, maybe looking for a penalty corner, but Switzerland wriggle away and come away with it, and Boris stomps support to his left. Forward it went from Stefan. Feel slipping.
It's a good break. I think again we would have been looking for the final pass to go to Keller's front stick on his back foot rather than throwing it in front of him. He didn't have anything outside him, so the pass to his back foot would have allowed him to have different options.
And Chavez and Toza. And it's only to player in white, but comes back for Portuguese.
Portuguese are managing to find a wee bit of space now down this left hand side.
Koda trying to deliver. Schneider darted away. Koda quickly away with the long corner and switch of sides for Ben Chavez. Moreira take two. Penalty corner, first one of the game. It's taken well into the third quarter to get it.
Good advantage by the umpire. Could have given the foot, allowed the Portuguese player to continue and end up coming out with a penalty corner. So we'll see whether they set up the double castle as they've done before. I think Franco coming off the right hand one at times.
Tavares cross for the injection, scored on penalty corner earlier in the week.
So
came back to him.
Franco off the left, Pinto off the hit off the right.
There's Franco, Pinto, up it goes. Oh, a sore one in the face for Keller. I think he was going to signal for another penalty corner, but stopping the clock immediately. Went a bit high and a bit dangerous, all in there. Was that part of the plan?
Not sure it was executed as well as they were hoping. I think they were trying to draw some of the Swiss defenders out to the top of the circle to create space for Pinto to get a hit. He's got, as we've seen, he's got quite a hard and accurate hit. And that's how the corner was created, with the ball being fed across.
Keller was straight back to his feet, or certainly for a few seconds, till the medical staff to get off the field. So take two for Portugal. Will it be something a bit more simpler routine? It's poor. Jose Santos tried to rescue, but that was a bit of a mess and chance lost for Portugal. And Switzerland break with Marielli. Support out wide and Schwer. Marielli.
again, trying to force it when they had play around the back.
Failure with the delivery, stomps away by Coda. Grader. Came off Morera. Still with Switzerland though. Stomps. Lovely play, but wide it goes from Nicholas Steffen.
That was nicely built up, but just before that, the good pick up on the drive across and reverse leg shot. But just before that, one of the Swiss players had stood and looked for a pass for about 3, 4, 5 seconds and then forced it into Portuguese defence. I think one of the things that the Swiss coaches are trying to get the players to better decision making in these sorts of situations.
Ball forward from Almeida is cut out, but Ventosa trying to work out a magic. A little bit of loft. Miguel Rodriguez trying to get an end of it. Bounced up, I think maybe off the arm of Mika Morard, but penalty corner signalled, another for Portugal.
They need to get the delivery and the stop far better than Hamd in the last two. They haven't really given their people at the top circle an opportunity to do their job, because the delivery, the push out and the control at the top circle hasn't been good enough. So set up slightly differently this time. Got Rodriguez to the left of the first castle. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets involved in it.
It's Pinto and it's fired wide by the keeper. To try and blot him again. Up off Nieves Morard. This time another different routine. Steady for Pinto to whack, but far away it was by the rest.
I think you and I last year, Cam, commented on the performance of the young goalkeeper from Switzerland. Remember, he'd just been signed by one of the German teams, Mannheim, and was going to play his first season in the German league, and certainly he's shown himself to be up to the task so far.
Miguel Rodriguez for Portugal, trying to get one back. Oh, how good was that from Miguel Rodriguez, and there is life yet in Portugal. Just over 6 minutes left, 2-1.
Swiss will be really disappointed at that, and gave the ball away themselves, and then the stick work in here was excellent. Coming along the baseline, goalkeeper just starting to go down. Rodriguez saw the space and managed to lift it over his shoulder. Makes it a little bit cagey now for the Swiss again. Only the one goal. We'll see whether the Portuguese start to come out a wee bit more and create some more opportunities.
So then 2-1 Portugal have another goal in this tournament, and they will have a difficult group stage, but they have scored goals and they've got a chance here. A draw, well, it would keep them in it, make it very difficult for either side. They need to go and win and hope, well, first of all, hope that there isn't a draw in another game, which would make things all very complicated with maths. But Portugal at least have got a chance here, and maybe will spark them into a bit of energy, which maybe they've lacked just a little bit in this game, and what they sometimes have lacked towards the end of the quarters. Now they've got something to fight for. Still one or two of those errors coming through though.
Just trying to force things, force things a little bit too much.
Yves Morard. Tavares the well to get it back.
Great decision by the Welsh umpire. The Portuguese player had deliberately shielded the ball with his stick well away from it, and drawing the foul from, or trying to draw the foul from the Swiss player, and Jamie Hooper seeing that quite clearly and giving it the correct way. This will be the story of how the Swiss team is developing now. 5 minutes to go in this quarter. They're trying to get the young players to understand parts of the game and phases of the game and how they react to that and how they behave during it. As we said, we spotted it last time, Callum, some of the Portuguese one-on-one skills are of the highest standard, and I've been told that some of them are the guys that are on the Facebook self-pass hockey site, where they do some remarkable sticks and tricks that hard to believe they can actually do. But when you see what Rodriguez did in that situation to create his goal, you can see it being applied in a match situation.
Did you have any tricks yourself, Neil?
Normally involved hitting somebody else, which my friend umpire Blair Thompson will happily testify to.
Forward from Schneider for Schwer. Wiggling in the edge of the D. People couldn't keep it. Miguel Rodriguez for Pinto. Michael Morard stole it off Franco. Gilvay should have scored the opener. Bit scrappy, advantage. But the ball's run away from Franco's grasp.
Swiss needs to go back to just moving the ball around, creating the good opening, and do what they were doing before. Portuguese, as you rightly said, have got a little bit more energy about them. Obviously they're a bit closer in the game, so that gives them a bit more hope.
Swiss free hit. Well, let's see if Renews looks from the Portuguese, but April Keller. That was a ball with real velocity from Sebastian Schneider. Portugal clear. Pinto. Miguel Rodriguez making a run as well. Pinto will stay with him, but slowed down by the Swiss. Maybe could have got the pass away a little quicker. Rodriguez was waiting, but still in a good spot this final couple of minutes of the third quarter. Pinto fires, and trying to get a touch on was Moreira. There's Rodriguez again on the floor, but obstruction, and that'll end that.
This is where the Swiss need the older players just to calm the game down. Minute 22. They would be happy to go in at 2-1 at the end of the third quarter. If another goal comes, that's fine, but they don't need to actually score it.
Schneider for Thaler. Brings the off Almeida. Taking a bit of time here, this Swiss. Yves Morard comes off the Swiss foot. Schneider. And speculative to try and get the rocket boots on of Franco. That's what we needed anyway to catch that, but just ticks the clock further down for both sides towards their couple of minutes rest.
And Swiss will just keep the ball for the last 10 seconds. One would expect.
Everyone could start walking off now for their drink of water. Well, the game is still alive here, and it is Portugal 1, Switzerland 2, and Swiss scored the second through Feller. It may well look like they may well ease to victory, but Portugal have themselves a lifeline through Miguel Rodriguez. That sets up a very exciting final quarter, because Portugal know that they need to pick up something here to stay in this group. So let's look at the couple of goals from this quarter, and Feller who got the second for the Swiss.
That was great defending, and then across to the top circle, past the left foot of the first Portuguese defender, deflection to the back post. Goalkeeper doesn't look particularly ready. Tries to close that one down quite rightly, because that was where the most dangerous shot was coming from, but the deflection totally cleared him. This is great skill, as you said about Rodriguez. He missed it the first time, but nice skills along there. And then I think Jonas Veres will be slightly disappointed that he went down so early and left a space above his shoulder. He went out, closed the space down, which is fine, but he starts to go to ground, and the only space he leaves Rodriguez is above his head. So a lot of skill to be able to put it there. If he'd stood tall, it would have been a more difficult shot.
Well, just while we're looking at the goals, there was a pretty intense conversation going on with Ricardo Cunha of Portugal and Jamie Hubert, the umpire. But certainly one or two moments of interest, and I think certainly we were talking about before Portugal scored, they were starting to just lose their discipline a little bit, but now they've kind of rallied round. 15 to play. Switzerland got enough to just hold off for all Portugal. When they make a comeback, we shall find out. The rain is on now. Did promise it. Do apologise for that, but it was always going to come. So it could make things even more exciting. So a big bunch of Swiss supporters to our right, and I think they might be a little nervous if it was to stick around like this for the next 15 minutes. If you're Switzerland, do you try and hold on to your lead, or do you try and go and secure things with another?
You've got to keep playing the way you've played. They have created a number of chances. They just don't need to force the ball. The Portuguese are playing that 4, so that when it comes out to wide right here, the left midfield player comes across. So they just need to move the ball from side to side until that player doesn't get there to create the opportunity, as they've just done there. Then they hit the baseline.
April in. Oh, and it almost fell through for Gail Weisho. That Cunha couldn't clear it, and that was nearly the third.
Good defending with his feet.
Hand up
Yeah,
from Cunha to apologise to his keeper, Swingo Camacho. Grader. To pick that.
Good ball, but something that you've just got to be at the top level. You've got to be able to stop that and do something with it. You had to release that ball quite quickly because of the pressure from the Swiss defender. Didn't really have time for the forward to make his lead across.
Apel. Schwer. Back to Apel. Good hockey this, but couldn't get it away, and Cunha again just putting the pressure on, but it was a lovely exchange of passes between the two.
good build-up. Just unfortunately, Apple wasn't aware of how close to him the defender was, and so he didn't have the time to take his reverse stick up.
Stumps in here to the circle. Bit of a mess. Somehow Portugal got it away. Franco will come back as Franco ran it out. Keller's ball wasn't quite controlled by Apple. It's a Portuguese ball there. Moreira, another loose pass. Franco kept it in.
Didn't look an awful lot wrong with that tackle with the Swiss, but unfortunate.
Cunha to Franco. Hammered away by Stomps. Fares into Franco. Good control this time. Franco, keeper is out. Defenders are out. Umpire says get up. Slightly controversial, but Switzerland won't care a bit.
Nice skills by Nicholas Stefan there to be able to create the opportunity.
Gail Vaishuda across, looking for Schwer. By Carlos Almeida, but might come back. Schwer, and he's had a quiet tournament so far. Scored last year World League here in Glasgow, and now he's got his moment to shine, and it may well be a 3-pointer for Switzerland to give them a lifeline.
Yes, they built it up nicely. Schwer did well, moved the keeper and created the tomahawk, the reverse stick shot there. If he hadn't scored that, I think the coaches would have been unhappy, because he had a couple of players easy pass to his left that he could have released, and they would have had nobody to beat. So they'll be glad he scored, but they might be watching that one again on the video to show them the options that he had.
Yeah, he got a couple of goals at World League 1 in Glasgow. One of those was against the Swiss. And he's got, well, against the Portuguese rather, I should say. So he's got another one this year round. And 3-1, that may well be job done for today anyway, and they'll have to fight again tomorrow.
Might start to get slightly more robust in the last 10 minutes now, Callum.
Here's Franco. It's a penalty corner, wriggled up and hit Martin Grainer.
Portuguese have started to up the tempo, taking things more quickly. Swiss weren't quite ready for what was happening there. You can see them at the top of the circle, the Portuguese trying to get themselves motivated and enthusiastic about what's happening.
Well, this will be a good way to get a second goal and get right back in it again. See from the camera there, the rain is whirling down.
David Franco off the first castle, and they've got Rodriguez on the second. They had Pinto on that before, so interesting to see where they go.
And from Tavares, Miguel Rodriguez saved. Can they get it in? Away it goes. Jose Santos was steaming in to try and get there in the follow-up.
Great goalkeeping by Jonas Verest, as we said. He's a very, very good young keeper and shows himself up equal to the task.
Fares won that back, but only briefly.
Swiss can't afford to keep dribbling the ball out of the danger area like that. They need to get back to their own hockey, move the ball around, composure, settle on it, and take the sting out of the game for the next 5 minutes.
going to no one from Keller.
He hit that one very, very well. Nobody was going to be able to make up the space to create that.
And then Media found Ventosa.
Well back by Ventosa. The worry for the Swiss is that the Portuguese are managing to find
Tavares, Miguel Rodriguez
Great.
tried to help it in. Another chance, and couldn't really get himself set.
Again, another good save. Shot coming in, and then failure to just put away the reverse stick. Yeah, the Portuguese are managing to find Ventosa free on the left midfield, and the Swiss defence aren't really picking them up. If they continue to leave that free and don't pick them up, then it's going to be very difficult for them to maintain this lead. Portuguese begin to step out now, their half court's gone.
Portuguese nothing to lose now, need to try and get something from the game, but there is space open up for Marielli. Sport into the D from Schwer, and they have got a fourth, and the space did open up, and it looked like Benno Weishoda may well have got the final touch. There is high fives for Nicholas Stefan as well. There were a couple of them waiting and queuing up to score.
Great ball into the baseline, held, waited for the defender, keeper came out to try and block it, but the Swiss had a couple of players sitting waiting, and that's the risk you take when you start to step up and press along the back four. You leave gaps in the midfield, and Swiss did some really good decision making to get the ball into the midfield. A great ball from the right midfield position into the baseline to then have the ball coming back against the Portuguese defence. Yeah,
confirmation, obviously looking at the replay, it was Stefan who got the decisive touch, and it's a goal which they surely will now end Portugal's second tier status. Came up for 2015, and in the recent history they have been a third tier nation. They were second in 2005, but never got promoted, so big effort to get here, but as entertaining and exciting as they have been, they will be heading down, still with one game to play tomorrow of course. So hope they can re-engage and enjoy their final game of the week tomorrow.
I think their goal difference is now so significant that even if Ukraine beat the Czechs, mathematically they'd have to beat the Czech Republic by, if they only had 3 points, and they beat the Czechs tomorrow, they'd have 3 points, but it'd be tough to win by 8, 9, something like that.
All the calculator stuff, we'll need to figure that one all out tomorrow. So we need to see what happens with the other game in this crossover section, this relegation pool. Schwer. Marielli down the city again.
Swiss have now managed to find that player on the baseline quite a lot, and that makes it really difficult to defend when you get in behind the defence onto the baseline.
As it stands, this was the scoreline when these two teams met in Glasgow just under 12 months ago at World League One, and it's the same scoreline now. Down comes Cunha, trying to get something back to the Portuguese. Will probably just be consolation. Moreira. Coda for Gonçalves. Ventosa. Miguel Rodriguez trying to flick it, but never got anything on it.
Again, that's the situation we talked about before. They're managing to find Ventosa into that left midfield pocket. The Swiss aren't managing to get across and close him down. Could quite easily have been a goal there. Still would be a hard ask with 5 minutes to go, but it wouldn't have been impossible.
Schwer bobbled up. Play on, says the umpires. Marielli stolen it. Could you get it in there?
Keep giving the ball away. They don't need to score another goal. And if they've got the ball, it's asking Portugal to do the hard work. But every time Switzerland give it away easily like that, trying to get a fifth goal, they allow Portugal to come back and create another opportunity. At this point, as a coach, you want your team to take the sting out of the game and make the other team chase the ball. The longer they have to chase it, the more frustrated they get. So when they do get it, they force things.
Keller's done exactly what you've just said there and given it me again. Moreira. Carmelo. It's tracked back. Sebastian Schneider, but Portugal again.
That's a great tackle. That's a great tackle.
Using his experience, the captain Manuel Keller. At 95 today for the 27-year-old.
Why would you play it through there?
Even Bernard was playing with a little bit of fire. Schwer though supports, and Gale Vaishoda. Feller. Schwer. Linking up well. Space was getting smaller and smaller. David Franco now for Portugal. Oh, what a ball that is! What control! Couple of goals at it here for Camalo. Keeper again. The rest so good, but they do have a second goal, and it is Ribeiro with it, his second of the tournament.
Great goalkeeping, outstanding goalkeeping, but the defenders weren't doing their job to be able to help him out. Switzerland need to take a little bit of composure and keep the ball. They don't need to score. They need to keep the ball for 2.5 minutes.
That's got to be Ribeiro, who scored the second consolation goal in the defeat, the 7-2 defeat against Ukraine. Well, he scored the second goal here for Portugal, but is it just the second consolation goal here?
The Swiss should know that the Portuguese are going to step up and put them under pressure. That's what they have to do. They need to have a plan that allows them to keep the ball and move it and not force it.
Marco Mikel. Space to fling wide. Mikel again. Bobbling up. They've got a penalty corner here. One or two quiet protests, but nothing too concrete, but given.
Swiss first penalty corner of the game?
Yep. Taken to the last 90 seconds. To rattle off his foot. Off Carlos Pinheiro. Also, of course, the main clock doesn't stop, but it might just give Swiss just a minute to calm down here. They've got a minute and a half left after the penalty corner.
What would worry me just now, Callum, is that the Swiss have only got 2 defenders back with their goalkeeper. In this game, they don't need to score this. What they mustn't do is lose another goal. Portuguese have got 7 on 2.
Keller to inject, Schwer to take the effort. It was a bit team in the end. Portugal down in the corner with Tavares. Now can they spot the quick pass? Only found Stefan. away from Stefan. Into the final 60 seconds here. I have seen 2 goals in 60 seconds before, but it is some achievement to do. Aaron by Morera. Doesn't quite reach D. Keller, couldn't control. Daniel Rodriguez has been put out wide. Franco down there. Time is very much in the favour of the Swiss. And it goes to the D. Way off it goes as the time disappears down.
Again, great skill by Franco coming along the baseline. I think he was trying to find a corner.
Final seconds, ball disappears, and Portugal are relegated from EuroHockey Championship 2 after Switzerland have defeated them by 4 goals to 2. An entertaining game which was a slow burner to begin with, but particularly the second half we've seen some great goals. Portugal always chasing though, as they have done quite a lot in this competition, but have continued their trait of scoring goals. But the Swiss, despite a lot of young players themselves on that side, did enough, and 1 or 2 big players maybe had quieter tournaments, likes of Nick Schwer, Florian Feller scoring goals, Nicholas Stefan as well, another experienced head, putting a 4th goal in. But a couple of goals for Portugal, and I'm sure we can look over the action from the game, the goals from the game. And it was Gael Vaishoda that scored the opener for the Swiss in the 13th minute.
Yeah, good control. A lot of players would have taken it onto their on reverse, but the front stick shot gave him a far better angle and allowed him to pick his spot very much. As I said before, the goalkeeper's positioning was alright, but his he was still moving when the shot went in and didn't allow him to cover. Lack of control coming out, but really good hard work by the attackers going forward. Deflection in front of the goalkeeper to the back post. Nice easy tap in to make it 2-0.
Yeah, Florian Feller with the goal in the 33rd minute.
Could you get caught ball watching? Ball came in behind him and his player just rolled the ball across the goal line from there. This is great skills by Rodriguez. Takes on 3 players. Swiss comes along the baseline. As said before, Jonas Verest will be slightly disappointed, I think, that he created an opening in the goal into above his right shoulder by stepping down as the player came along the baseline. That said, Verest had an excellent game and at times kept him in the game. Again, good pressure by the Swiss forwards to get the ball back and in front of the goal. Nice reverse stick hit to take the goalkeeper out of position, move it to the side. Simple goal.
Yeah, Nick Schwer in the 50th minute. It was a good period for the Swiss, kind of put the game just about to bed, although the Portuguese never gave up. But Schwer in the 50th minute and Nicholas Stefan getting the final touch here in the 53rd minute. Yeah,
managed to use the baseline, create a bit of space. Goalkeeper makes a save, but puts it straight to the Swiss forward, Nicholas Stefan, who just has to lift it over the prostrate goalkeeper. And there was another player standing at the back post if he needed him. So
yeah, Benoit Vaishoda was there. Then there was just a little bit of hope and a bit of a scramble, but Vasco Ribeiro was following up to score there for another goal for him in this competition.
And if you look at Verest as a goalkeeper, he's really disappointed that he didn't get across, but what we didn't see in that clip was he'd made 2 saves already before the final shot went in behind him. So I think Switzerland will be reasonably happy that they, as you said early on, they only got into World League 2 because of the sanctions on Azerbaijan. They should have been in Euro League 3, so they'll be happy that they should be able to stay up and it'll give them a little bit more time to continue their building process of the young squad that they've got.
Yeah, with the goals they're scoring, might well be advantage. We'll see how things develop. Ukraine, Czech Republic is next. Then we've got the 2 games later on: Wales, France, Scotland, Russia in the top half. Just before we finish up, Neil, quick thought on Ukraine, Czech Republic. Where do you think that might go?
I think that'll be quite a robust game. Ukraine have looked not a bad side. Scotland had to work pretty hard to beat them. Haven't seen much of the Czech Republic, but they certainly put Russia and made Russia work hard for it. It could be quite physical, and that's the way both teams like to play it. From what I've seen of Ukraine, they're pretty dangerous in their penalty corners. Pazuk has scored a few, so tough one to call. Possibly just Ukraine, I think.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Neil, thanks for the moment. We'll hear from you later on. But we'll wrap up for now from this game. An entertaining start to the day. Portugal, though, are relegated from EuroHockey Championship 2 because Switzerland have won this one by 4 goals to 2.